Welcome to World News Tonight. System meltdown, hundreds of flights delayed, passengers standing in endless lines. Tonight, the nationwide travel trouble. Terror attack, the peace rally rocked by two powerful blasts. Carnage and sorrow as officials point to suicide bombers. Thousands now marching in protest. But who's to blame? Caught on camera, a man on his knees, then police tase him. The man, an elected city councilman. And inside job, a former lottery official convicted for buying this winning ticket in Iowa. His brother and friend also winning jackpots. Tonight, the investigation going national. Was your lottery rigged? Plus, a possible cancer breakthrough. Could elephants hold the key to beating cancer? The secret in their DNA and the new hope for saving lives.
This is ABC World News Tonight.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday. I'm Tom Yamas, and we begin with an airline travel mess affecting tens of thousands of passengers right now. The trouble with a type of airline ticketing technology, the delays rippling across the country. In Las Vegas, take a look at this. Arriving at the airport on the monorail, the lines could be seen snaking outside the terminal. And inside, passengers everywhere waiting in epic lines. Tonight, the airline still plagued by problems with the work week about to begin. ABC's Kana Whitworth is at hard-hit LAX tonight.
Tonight, a travel nightmare for thousands as Southwest Airlines grapples with a computer glitch. Lines spilling all the way to the curb in Las Vegas and Denver, and a bottleneck in Los Angeles. Tents set up to shield waiting passengers from the heat. Southwest blaming a technology issue affecting everything from its website to its mobile app, reservation centers, and airports.
Get here an hour prior and it's usually good, but sometimes that Murphy's Law gets you, doesn't it?
Yeah. The trouble beginning around 10 a.m. as Southwest begins manually issuing boarding passes. By mid-morning, a tweet from Southwest saying, "We apologize for this morning's technical issues," adding 150 flights were affected.
They took my name down manually on a piece of paper at the gate, which made me feel a little bit uneasy.
With the airline scrambling, Southwest employees handing out water to frustrated passengers. By 1:30 p.m., the number of flights affected jumping to 450. Passengers unsure if they'd get to their destination.
I'm still not 100% confident that I'm going to get on that flight.
Last month, American Airlines grounded flights in 3 cities because of a computer glitch. In August, an air traffic control problem caused by a software update snarled travel along the East Coast. And in July, United blaming a computer malfunction for hundreds of delays.
Southwest says this problem is affecting future bookings as well. I just spoke with a woman who missed her flight and waited in this line for 2 hours to be rebooked, but nobody could help her because even Southwest doesn't have access to their reservations. Tom?
And we can see all those frustrated passengers behind you. Okay, Kana, thank you. Next to the race for 2016 and the big week ahead for the Democrats. The candidates go head-to-head in their first debate Tuesday night, but one potential candidate will not be there. Vice President Joe Biden on the sidelines, but is he ready to get in the game? That decision expected very soon. ABC's Cecilia Vega on the vice president and the Democratic race.
Tonight, all eyes on Joe Biden. Is this a man in the running? Biden at his grandson's football game this weekend, sprinting past the cameras, dodging questions about whether he plans to enter the race.
Everyone wants to know, are you
Get out of my way, will you?
After weighing the decision publicly for months,
And I'd be lying if I said that I knew I was there.
sources now tell ABC News this is the week Biden will make up his mind, a decision that will come after the first Democratic debate on Tuesday. On that stage, Hillary Clinton trying to maintain her status as the party frontrunner as her poll numbers dive. This weekend, she's off the trail and holding mock debates to prepare, her aides playing the role of her political rivals like former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley and Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Sanders gaining on Clinton in the polls, pulling in nearly as much cash and drawing 9,000 people to a rally in Colorado on Saturday. This morning, facing questions about whether he's trying to move away from his socialist label.
When one of your Republican colleagues gets on the show, do you say, are you a capitalist? Have you ever referred to them as capitalists?
Yeah. Are you a capitalist?
No. I'm a democratic socialist.
The big show now just 2 days away in Las Vegas, but the main attraction in this race remains camped out in Delaware, weighing the political decision of a lifetime. And the clock is ticking for Joe Biden. He is expected to meet with his family at some point this week, and that is going to be a deciding factor in his decision. And he stays here at his house in Delaware through tomorrow. Tom?
We're all watching and waiting. Okay, Cecilia, thank you. We want to turn overseas now to that developing story in Turkey, a devastating attack on a peace rally in the capital. This video capturing the act of terrorism as it happens. You saw it right there. The event shattered by the first blast. Moments later, a second one. Then the bodies of the victims lay covered in flags. And tonight, this vital U.S. ally at the edge of the Middle East is in turmoil. ABC's Alex Marquardt is in Ankara.
Youthful singing and joined hands under a clear blue sky. The peace this rally called for shattered by two blasts. Many fled as fast as they could. Others stayed to help the wounded. The deadliest terror attack in Turkish history, almost 100 killed. Today, the site was cordoned off by police, forensics teams combing it for clues.
This is as close as we can get to the scene. Turkish officials say they believe it was suicide bombers who carried out this attack, either ISIS or Kurdish militants, but so far there has been no claim of responsibility.
Thousands turned out this afternoon for remembrances and to vent their anger at the government for allowing this attack to happen. At the hospital, families and friends wait for news in the driveway. 21-year-old Ulaj was just a few yards from the blast that took the lives of 16 of his friends. He's now worried that Turkey has entered a dark new chapter.
Do you think that there will be more attacks like this in Turkey?
Yes, it can be.
As the country marks this tragedy with 3 days of national mourning, that fear over more violence is now growing, with contentious elections just a few weeks away and Turkey cracking down on ISIS and its Kurdish enemies. Tom?
Alex Marquardt for us tonight. Alex, thank you. Back here now to Texas and a police tasering incident caught on camera. The subject, a young city councilman outside his apartment building. The officers asking him to step away as they questioned his friends. He objects. Then on his knees, you see it right there. One of the officers fires a taser at him. And all of it playing out in a town known for another controversial arrest. Here's ABC's Marcy Gonzalez.
Tonight, questions about this takedown of a Texas city councilman tased by police in his front yard.
Put your hand behind your back. Put your hand.
Police body cam video shows Councilman Jonathan Miller outside of his home Thursday night asking officers why they were questioning three of his friends.
Okay, I'm not either.
Okay, man, come on, go stand over there, man. This is the scene. This is the scene. Come on, come on,
officer.
Come on.
Do not put your hands on me.
Go over here before you go to jail for interfering.
The tension quickly escalated.
I'm telling you one more time, man. Go over there before you go to jail. Turn around.
I'm not saying nothing.
Turn around.
Get your hands off me.
Turn around.
Police saying in a statement he physically resisted arrest, and Mr. Miller continued to resist even after repeated commands to stop.
Okay, he's gonna have to tase. You're not doing like you're
The Prairie View police chief telling ABC station KTRK that female officer also responded as backup to the controversial arrest of Sandra Bland in this same town over the summer. Meanwhile, Miller, charged with resisting arrest and interfering with public duties, now out of jail. He and neighbors raising concerns over the male officer's use of force.
The cop wasn't in danger, so I don't see why he should have tased him.
Both officers still on the job tonight while the department investigates. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, New York.
And to Cleveland now, prosecutors releasing two reports on the shooting death of 12-year-old Tamir Rice, both finding the police response, quote, reasonable. It happened nearly a year ago, a squad car answering a call about an armed man within seconds shooting Rice, who was holding a realistic-looking pellet gun, killing him. Tonight, the family's response as the grand jury is still weighing charges. Here's ABC's Ron Claiborne.
The two outside experts retained by Cleveland prosecutors looked at the evidence, and they concluded the shooting of 12-year-old African-American boy Tamir Rice was justified. Officer Timothy Lohman and his partner were responding to a 911 call of someone in a park with a gun. It turned out Tamir had a pellet gun. But a former FBI agent said not only was Officer Lohman required to make a split-second decision, his response was a reasonable one. In his report, a Denver prosecutor dissected the video. Tamir walking toward the police car as it arrives. Officer Lohman firing from close range in a matter of seconds. His conclusion, Officer Lohman was in a position of great peril. Tamir's family, including his mother, outraged by the report's findings.
Ms. Rice and her family now believe that this has been an 11-plus month charade to ensure that there's no accountability or indictment of these officers.
A grand jury will ultimately decide whether to bring charges against the officers. But tonight, the Rice family is skeptical. The prosecutor invited the family to submit their own experts' assessments of the evidence. Their lawyer says they are still deciding right now, Tom, they do not trust this prosecutor.
And so many across the country following this case. Okay, Ron, thank you so much. We want to show you some incredible video now in Florida, a dangerous and frightening sight over Tampa Bay. Take a look at this. A water spout spinning at the side of the Sunshine Skyway Bridge, catching drivers by surprise. Then the funnel cloud crossing the road, striking a mail truck, tipping it over, and ripping it apart. The most amazing thing about this video, the driver escaping from that without injury. And in parts of South Carolina, a real-life water world. Thousands of families are still forced from their homes by the swollen rivers and broken dams. And tonight, a new enemy. ABC's Philip Mena reporting in from Conway, South Carolina.
With waters receding in some parts of South Carolina, the race to save what's left of these homes.
You tear it all out, you get the house dried out, and then you build it back.
Volunteers in Columbia helping homeowners as the city hauls away debris.
If you get to the point where the mold grows so rapidly, it could be a complete demo.
The goal? Getting the water-damaged drywall and furniture removed before the mold starts growing. Farther east, a much different story. Here in the flooded town of Conway, the Waccamaw River is now 8 feet above normal. And for the thousands living in the flood path, like Amber Carroll and her family, life is still far from normal.
It's pretty hard for them also. They've never been through anything like this.
Trips to work and school, even the local Walmart, now require a 20-minute boat ride down their street.
I just wish it would all go away. I wish there was a plug we can pull to make it just go on somewhere.
With so many roads still impassable, FEMA is now bringing in amphibious vehicles to help stranded residents get around.
We have never experienced anything like this in our life.
And Tom, this is one of those streets still impassable. Officials say it could take up to a month for these streets to dry out. Tom?
Philip, thank you. An exciting prospect in the fight against cancer inspired by a trip to the zoo. A researcher there with his children remembered that elephants rarely get cancer and wondered if whatever protects them could save people as well. ABC's Nick Watt with the researcher and his findings.
Elephants have survived 55 million years on this earth. They've evolved to beat cancer, and they might just help us beat it too.
In this elephant blood, I totally, truly believe lies the secret to cancer prevention. We have something here that potentially can save millions of lives.
Elephant blood from Schiffman's local zoo and the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus.
You see, most humans have only 2 copies of a gene called P53, which kills cancerous cells. Elephants have around 40, and elephants hardly ever get cancer.
Does this involve then somehow getting P53 genes from an elephant into a human?
That's one approach. There are other things that we can do, looking for drugs that mimic the effect.
Schiffman is inspired in this bizarre collaboration by his patients.
I'll undergo brain surgery again in 2 weeks.
A recurring cancer because Tony Means has only one working P53.
I have passed it on, I guess, to Landon, Emma, and Sophie,
whose lives one day could be saved by Tonka, Mabel, Luna, and the Sam.
Nick Watt, ABC News, Salt Lake City, Utah.
And we thank Nick for that story. Now with a lottery scandal that's growing tonight. At the center of it, a former lottery worker accused of rigging a drawing, fixing the numbers with a computer program. It started in Iowa, but now investigators say other states are involved in the potential multi-million-dollar fraud. Here's ABC's Clayton Sandell.
What authorities call one of the biggest lottery frauds ever.
Well, if you match all 5 numbers and the hot ball, you win the jackpot.
Tonight is getting bigger. Part of what prosecutors say is an inside job by a former lottery employee, Edward Tipton. Tipton allegedly rigged lottery computers to pick specific numbers so he could win Iowa's hot lotto game, but hiding his own identity, paying associates to try and collect the $16 million prize.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the winning ticket.
Eventually, Tipton was fired, recently convicted and sentenced to prison.
Edward Tipton, guilty of fraud.
But now officials say he also fixed games in Colorado and Wisconsin. A total of $1.3 million paid to winners who just happened to be Tipton's own brother and a longtime friend. They have not been charged in this case, but that friend, Robert Rhodes, is facing 2 counts of fraud in the earlier Iowa case.
This is a breach of trust against lotteries, our players, our games, and the billions of dollars at stake for the worthy causes that lotteries benefit.
Tipton's lawyer is appealing the conviction and says this new charge is an effort to garner publicity for an untimely investigation, calling the previous case fatally flawed. But investigators say they are not done.
This is now a nationwide investigation that seeks to identify instances where individuals may have taken advantage of personal relationships to perpetrate fraud against a lottery game.
The lotteries say they've now added multiple layers of new security, hoping to lower the odds of getting taken again. Clayton Sandell, ABC News, Denver.
Clayton, thank you. And now with our index, starting with that controversial play at Dodger Stadium that has Mets fans furious tonight. Take a look at this. Dodgers Chase Utley making a hard slide into second base, plowing right into shortstop Ruben Tejada, sending him flying into the air, preventing a double play. But Tejada broke his leg in the collision. The play is now under review. The Dodgers went on to win that game. Now to President Obama weighing in on Kanye West, who says he may run for president in 2020.
Do you really think that this country is going to elect a black guy from the south side of Chicago with a funny name to be president of the United States? That is crazy.
He's got a point. The president joking at a fundraiser in San Francisco where West was the headlining act. Now to a hand-me-down sweater that just keeps showing up in one family's photos generation after generation. The gray sweater little Brady Goes is wearing here for his first grade picture has been worn by 5 family members in their first grade picture, starting with his grandfather all the way back to 1954. Brady says he plans to pass it on one day to his children. Finally, tonight is homecoming season, a tradition marked by the thrill of the big game, the dance, and of course, the crowning of the king or queen. But this year at some schools, the memories will be about so much more. At the homecoming game at this Pennsylvania high school, the biggest play came at halftime. The whole school coming together to crown a queen, unlike any other.
She just has a kind heart, always wants to brighten people's day, and she does.
This year's homecoming queen, Sarah Nuslin, has Down syndrome. But Sarah's sister, Lizzie, said that's not why she's being honored.
Sarah didn't win because she has a disability. It's because she's a great person overall.
And in Tennessee, Braden Carpenter sported this new haircut for homecoming, all because Allie Allen, his date, is fighting brain cancer. He just wanted to make her comfortable. His reward? Her big smile.
1, 2, 3, focus!
And at Denver's Manual High School, the football team made homecoming history, making a 3-year-old girl their queen.
It's something that immediately touched us. I mean, I think there's so few times in your life where you can feel an immediate impact.
The team first met little Evelyn when they rehabbed her backyard, making sure she had grass to play in. She's undergone multiple open-heart surgeries. Her fighting spirit and the players' love for her, a true homecoming memory.
Touched my heart so much, like I wanted to cry to see this little girl walk out, be crowned a queen.
And those stories touched our hearts as well. I'm Tom Yamas in New York. Have a great evening.
ABC News honored winner for the 2nd straight year with the Edward R. Murrow Award for overall excellence in television and radio. ABC News, America's #1 news source.